Welcome back to Life and Style. This is Relationship Wednesday. We are on Ask Pastor Chris. You know, we've had Mandate, we've had Retake, we've had Style My Wife, Style My Hobby with Crystal Okusa. But now we are out here, as usual, going out into the campuses and the colleges, the communities, talking to the young people as they ask their questions, and I get to answer those questions. You want us to come to where you are, to your institution. You want us to come to your church, to your youth group. Write us an email, lifeandstyle@standardmedia.co.ke. The and is a symbol, lifeandstyle@standardmedia.co.ke. 22840 is our text message number. And you keep following us and chatting with us and conversing with us on social media platforms at KTN_Life_Style. That is for both Instagram and for Twitter. And then on Facebook, it is KTN Life and Style. The hashtag is KTN Life and Style. Keep the conversations going. Even right now, send your questions and we're going to get back to you. I will reply your questions. I will answer to them. I am now at Daystar University. Today we came out Daystar University on Valley Road. I know there's an Arthur River campus, there is Valley Road, and we came out to hang out with the students right over here. They're all waiting and eager to bring up their questions. Hi, everybody. Hi. You all right? Yes. Before we get into the questions, I've got a lady who's going to talk to us a little bit about Daystar University Valley Road campus.
Hi, my name is Vanessa.
Right.
And I just want to say that Daystar University is a university that is built on Christian values. And with those Christian values, we have all been able to be built with emotionally, mentally, academically, in every way possible. It has been a great stepping stone to the other world and the outside world. Personally, I have grown as a leader, I've grown spiritually, and it is a place that you create a positive culture in your life.
All right.
Yeah.
That's great. So you tell everybody out there to join Daystar?
Oh, definitely.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. What's different between Valley Road and Arthur River? Is there any difference?
Apart from the fact that we are day students and Arthur River is, you know, it has more of an on-campus feeling because they live there, so they have more of a university lifestyle, I'd say, because most of us are fortunate enough to go back home. But that's just the difference. We share the same common goal.
So if somebody wants to do day schooling, they come to Valley Road?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we go straight into the questions. I want to get the first person who will ask the question.
My name is Olivia Tawarar, and I have a question for you. For example, you are in a relationship, and by God's grace, it moves to the next level. Are you supposed to go to your boyfriend's church if you get married to him, or it is okay if you go to different churches?
By the next level, you mean marriage?
Yeah.
It's one of the things that you discuss when you're relating, especially if you are involved in the churches that you are in. That also is a great factor. What's the level of your involvement? Because if I am a man and I'm not so involved in my church, and then you're a lady and you're very involved, sometimes it doesn't make sense to pull you and then not get involved on this other side. There are certain kind of things that cultural stereotypes, like that the lady has got to follow the man. It's not always like that. You've got to look at what are you pulling this lady from, and what are you pulling them into. So it's a discussion that needs to be had. I shouldn't just pull you because I'm the man. Neither should we just go separate ways when we don't really have a reason. The ideal is for both of us to go to the same place, but we've got to talk about that. What is that same place that we want to go to? So that's where now you begin to look at all the factors. Is it a place that will fit both of you? Is it a place that both of you will fit in? Is it a place that will grow both of you? Or is it a place where one person can sacrifice for the other, depending, again, as I said, on the level of involvement? For example, if you're a praise and worship leader at a certain church, and then I don't do anything where I am, it wouldn't make sense for me to say, come, and then you can't really fit in over there because you've invested. The same way with the marketplace. You don't quit your job just because you got married. So those are things that people should weigh very objectively, so that they keep their relationship going, because eventually they want to enhance that marriage. So it's a discussion that you have.
Lately, ladies are being taught not to treat men as though they have been married already while in a relationship. So what indicators are left then for a man to know whether this is a wife material? Because there are people that may never really change, and you have gotten into marriage and you realize someone is lazy and you never really got to know that because they wouldn't do some things and have been trained not to do those particular things because they're not married to you?
Well, the best way to get to know people is to spend time with them. And you will get to know their heart. It's difficult for me to sit with you over and over without beginning to know what really fills your heart. Eventually, as people become more safe, as they feel more safe, they begin to become more open. So the initial stages of relationship, you find people are a bit reserved, apart from people who are a bit extroverted. But the initial stages, people are a bit reserved. They do not know what will be offensive to the other person. After a while, they feel safe. They begin to talk more. So you'll hear somebody make comments like, I don't do this. I don't do this. So you pick up those. You don't really have to put somebody, you don't have to bring them into your house to prove whether they can cook or not. Again, it depends on what you're looking at and you're looking for. So the thing is, and I always say that make your expectations very clear. If you want a wife who can cook, you got to explain that to them so that from the onset, this person knows what you expect from them. And if they don't think they fit into that, they also let you know. That's not their idea of being a wife. If they're very interested, then they might they may say, well, I don't know how to cook or I don't like it, but for your sake, I'm going to learn. So you begin to build. So there's the element of being very open about it. Communication is just the key to that. Because you can't bring everybody, trying them in your house to cook for you. That doesn't work. Again, they also are protecting themselves because some of them have gone out of their way to do things for men, and then those men just left them. So they really feel like I invested a lot. Some of them, women are believers. She believes in you. She'll take a loan for you. She'll do anything for you. Then you dump her. Then she does the next one for the next person. Then she begins to realize, look, I've got to protect myself. So it's not a very bad thing that they are doing. But all those things can be sorted out at the communication level.
I'd like to ask and just find out your opinion on the case of soulmates, and if is there like someone for everyone, and is it like predetermined, or do you just think it's an abstract, far-fetched concept?
It's a very difficult premise because, you see, we don't even have equal numbers of men and women. So even just to try and fit those figures like there is somebody for everybody, just won't work. Just to try and fit those, just won't work. And then Jesus talked about those, and he said there are those people who are eunuchs by choice. And then there are those people who are eunuchs because they've been made eunuchs by men. So it also tells you that it's not everybody who's going to get married. It's not everybody who will do that. But the element of soulmates, the basis of people talking about soulmates has got to do with a certain kind of unity that they have, which, again, I'm not going to talk about that so much as something that is sound truth, because then if I lose a partner, does it mean that I've lost what God had given to me? Because Scripture permits, for example, if a spouse is dead, the person is free, so they can marry somebody else. Then it tells you that it's more about fitting in purpose, and there is a possibility of somebody else fitting into that purpose again. It's not. I don't think that there's only one person that can fit into your life. Yeah, there is the perfect will of God, probably, but again, God is not careless because He understands human beings. Human beings are very, very, how will I call it? They're very fickle. So He always has another plan, So it's possible that a spouse is passed on and they marry again. That tells you that there is provision. But the whole issue mostly is about compatibility.
My question comes in on conflict resolution matters in relationships. You can find a situation. Okay, I was once in a situation where my mother always tells me never sleep with an issue. Like, always make sure before you sleep, solve it.
All right.
Try as much as you can. And my partner then was the kind of person, when he was angered, he would prefer to isolate, like go to his corner and just disappear for a while and get over his anger and come back. And I think for me that used to affect us a lot, because when it was him who had wronged me, I always made an effort of making sure I sleep before before
about it?
Yeah, before we've talked about it, you get. So I always had an issue. I trying to get your opinion on conflict resolution matters. Is it wise, like when two people have different ways of solving issues? What would be your advice, like in such a situation?
Well, one of the reasons why we have conflict in the first place is because we have different personalities and different viewpoints. That's one of the reasons why we have conflicts in the first place. So even in how we solve or resolve conflict, we're going to have different views most of the time. If you had the same way of solving things, you'd not even be in the conflict zone. So you've got to embrace and appreciate the differences of the different people, of the people that are in a relationship. So if you're relating with somebody else, you need to know that they will not be like you. They can't be like you. They don't think like you. You will have areas where you probably think the same, but that will not be always the case. So when it comes to conflict resolution, you need to talk about how you solve conflict. You've got to lay down ground rules for how you resolve conflict. If you're the person that feels like you need to address it then, and this person feels like they don't want to address it at that particular point, you see, one of you or two of you have got to come down from how they think things are going to be solved. What you think that is the right way may be the right way, but then now you're dealing with somebody else who also has been taught differently. And mostly, your partner, most men behave like that. Most men don't want to talk about things now. They want to take some time off. So you've got to allow that space. Yet again, that space cannot be an eternal space that they go into. So it just means that you may have to take 2 or 3 days, let the temperatures cool. Never solve issues while the emotions are high. You're going to lose sight of why you have issues in the first place. You'll be dealing with the emotions, so you'll be in firefighting. So don't raise up issues when the emotions are high. Stick to the issues. If it means that you have to write down what you're upset about, then write it down just to keep your head focused on it. Yes, because you're trying to solve something. You're not trying to fight. You're trying to solve something. You can come in and you tell somebody, you always don't care about me. And then they're wondering, what do you exactly mean by I always don't care about you? Because from their world, they think they're doing more than they're supposed to do. So definitions also cause conflict. Because what you call care, somebody else might be thinking, I'm laying my life down for you. But you think they're not caring for you. So it's expectations, definitions. When you say you don't love me, what do you mean? When you say you don't spend time with me, what do you mean? Because to some people, when they spend 20 minutes with you, they feel like they've spent eternity. If they check out on you once in a week, they think they're doing very well. Then you will be saying you're not communicative. So you always have got to then talk about those things. So when you have issues, stick to the issue. Keep the temperatures down. If the other person is not ready to talk, don't force them, because they will begin to feel threatened. And that's where the word nagging usually comes in, because women are expressive, men are not. So you feel like you want to talk about it now, he feels like I need some time, he wants to go mental, you want to go emotional, and you're going to have a problem right there. So sometimes just hold on a little bit. If it is not something that is threatening your life that night, you can wait 2 days.
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
The first question is, when you're dating, since we have this mentality that we should date, if I'm a girl, I should date a guy older than me. So what's your take on dating at different ages, if a boy is younger than me or if I'm older than the guy? The second question is, if I'm a Christian and I'm dating a non-Christian, how far will the relationship go? And if it will go far, then what are the limitations?
Okay. The first question of age, it's not really a big deal. It's not really a big deal if you're dating somebody, a man who's younger than you. The thing is his mind developed to the place where he can be a leader to you, to the place where he can build you up? Can he function as the head in your life? Because some people mature faster than other people, either because they have been exposed to certain things, they have experienced certain things, they have learned certain things. Some people had to grow up on the fast lane. So he could be 22, 25, but he's behaving like a 38-year-old because life threw at him responsibility. On the other hand, somebody could be 37 and they still behave like a 17-year-old. So it's never so much about age, it's so much about their development, their stage, where they are at. Are they leaders to you? Can they play that role? Does that age factor keep on coming? Can you reason at that level with him? Is he intimidated? Do you feel diminished by that? If it's not an issue, then you relate with the person. Concerning getting married to somebody or relating with somebody, if you're a Christian and they're not Christian, that comes back to something I like to call value system. And when you are relating with anybody, if you don't share the same values, there is a high possibility that you're going to have a lot of conflict, because that is what forms your decision-making process. So whereas one person thinks, I want to do this, the other person feels, I can't do that. And it's because of what they believe. So you'll always be having conflict over that. And yet, you see, in relationship, you want to be, the two want to be one. So you want to go the same place, you want to hang out with the same people, you want to go into the same kind of setups socially. And so one person believes, I can't go there. For example, if I may say, for example, if you're a Christian, so you believe you don't go clubbing, then you've got somebody who believes they've got to go clubbing. So what do? They want you to go to the club with them. You say, I can't go over there. So you want them to follow you to church on Sunday morning. They came home Sunday morning, so you keep on fighting over those kind of things. So what will have happened is that you've opened the door for conflict, and if you're willing to fight for a long time, then you go ahead with it. But it's going to be an issue.
What happens in the instance where you're dating somebody who maybe was hurt in their previous relationship, and now you guys are you want to start on a clean sheet, but the memories of the past heartbreaks, the memories of the past incidences keep haunting you? What happens?
That's why it's important when somebody breaks up from a relationship to take some time and heal. They need to take some time and heal. What most people do is that they rebound. They rebound, one, because they feel that they need to numb the pain. It's very painful to have a heartbreak. So people feel like they need some form of anesthetics, and that comes in the form of another relationship. It's like, that didn't work, so if I find somebody else to love me, then I will not feel the pain. That is never the truth. Another relationship just becomes a painkiller, and it wears off, and you feel the pain, then you've got to do that again. So that's why now when somebody gets into the next relationship, over and over, the past comes in, because the whatever caused the pain has not been dealt with, really. The issues, that heartbreak has not been dealt with. There's not been healing. So they're just trying to pacify themselves. So it's important to take time after a heartbreak. And that time depends on how bad that heartbreak was, how much somebody had invested in a relationship. Some people are casually in a relationship, so if they walk out of it in about 2 months or something, they're gone. Some people, their entire life was in there. Then maybe they stayed in for a long time, like 3 or 5 years. This is the person that you knew. This is the first person that came into your life. That's a lot of investment in there. When you walk out, or if they walk out, it's going to hurt you so bad, and for a while. It's important for the person to heal. By the time that they're getting into the next relationship, the other person also now must understand that they are relating with somebody who has been wounded. So it's like you're taking care of a patient. You get into a relationship with someone like that, you know that you're taking care of a sick person. That means you're not going to put demands on them. You're going to treat them. That's if you found yourself there. You're going to treat them. When you're a nurse or a doctor, you got to be patient. You got to take a lot. You'll take the flak. You'll be beaten up, in quotes, for what the other people did. You'll see the anger. You'll see the flares. You'll see the reactions. You'll see the tantrums, and it's nothing to do with you. That's you just taking the flak for the other people. So if you're not strong enough to do that, then it is important to let the person heal and not try to engage too deep or too much. You can actually be in their life, but don't push the relationship too much. Just help them go through the healing process.
I'd like to take you back to conflict resolution. There's this type of people who need a few days off, yeah? But how long is too long? Sometimes silence pushes you away, and right. You go so far, you don't want to come back. So what happens then? Then what's your take on cohabitation and directness? If you like say there's people who beat around the bush before they actually get to the point where they tell you they want to date you, and there's those who go straight to it. I want to date you, so yeah. Directness.
Okay. If I go back to conflict resolution, when somebody asks for time out or space, it has also to be defined. That space has got to be defined. Where if I'm just trying to spend some time with myself to recollect myself, it can't be 1 year. I'm not trying to solve anything. It can't be 1 year. It all depends again on why we fought in the first place, why there was the conflict in the first place. So if we disagreed on where we wanted to go and have coffee in the evening, you can't take time out for a whole month over that, you know. But if there are certain foundational issues that are core issues, then maybe somebody needs quite some time. But again, you must agree on how much time, so that by the time this person is coming back, so they've got to make a decision, because they cannot hold you forever over there. Somebody can't keep you waiting time out 6, 7 months. You don't know whether you are in a relationship or not. There's no communication. You don't know whether you need to call or not. You don't know whether you need to visit or not. You can't do that. It's going to leave you hanging over there. Then probably you don't know whether they're coming back or they're not coming back. So there has got to be some kind of a definite time. We say, let's allow ourselves 2 weeks. I think by then, it's good enough time for somebody to have recollected their thoughts, for them to be able to see issues like they want to see. You asked about cohabitation. I believe in what the Bible believes in. I don't believe in what the Bible does not believe in. Yeah. And your last question had to do with, it was about the directness. That's just different people, raised differently or grown differently. You've got to go into somebody's intentions before you judge their actions. Some people they've never seen anything romantic around them. I mean, they just grew up and everybody said stuff just straight, direct, like that. It was never in their environment. And they may mean very well, but that's just how they say it. Again, some people are direct because they're afraid. So they use boldness to cover their fear. They just come in straight, and with that, then they get you off, because you're now on the defense. Sometimes they're dealing with their internal fears. They don't know what you're going to say. So how somebody says it will differ based on personalities, upbringing, culture, mentality, exposure, but you've got to look at the intention. See how they treat you. See whether they mean it. 'Cause somebody can come in with a very good pickup line, with very good pickup lines, but then they'll drop you in the same way, you know. So you got to look at the person.
I've seen many relationships end due to bad relations between the mother and the daughter-in-law. As a man, when I grow up and get married, how do I deal with this?
That's a good question, because when you marry, you're marrying, first of all, to you and for you. Your mother has played her role, including your dad, your parents, they've played their role. The roles just change. Your parents don't cease being your parents, but the roles do change. It means that the most important woman in your life at that particular point now becomes your wife. Your mother then moves into the place of an advisor. She just watches out in case there is something that she really feels is of concern, which cannot be every week. It can't be every month. She just comes in more like a consultant, actually. Consultants don't have to be in the office every day. So now your wife becomes your priority, and the family has got to respect that. Though you both will respect your mother, so it's got to be that both of you, even your wife, will treat your mother as her mother, just the same way you've got to treat her mother as your mother. But then your marriage is your marriage, and you've got to, first of all, try to solve things over there. Don't put pressure on her by what your mother has said. You must be the protector of your wife. You must never expose them to ridicule. You must never expose them to hurt. You must not allow people to talk down on her or talk to her anyhow, because she becomes one with you. So if you're not sure about the woman you want to marry, you don't marry them. The one that you marry, you protect. You take care of and shield emotionally too.
I have a question. Imagine this scenario where you've been in a relationship and then something happens between you two and you decide that you can't do it anymore. and you go different directions. Then 1 year down the line, or 1 year, 6 months down the line, the relationship is enlightened again. Do you think that the relationship can work after a long breakup and you go back to the same man?
Yes, it can. Yes, it can. And sometimes that's an indication. It's an indication that the two of you would rather be with each other. Because you have had the opportunity to walk away. You have had the opportunity to meet other people. You have had the opportunity to go elsewhere. And probably within the 1.5 years or maybe 2 years, people have actually walked away and tried other relationships. Then it didn't work. Then they come back. You see, the first time you have the benefit of doubt. The second time you have knowledge. If you can come back the second time, you will be having a more sober and mature relationship because you already know the flaws in this person. You already know what didn't work. You already know what the issues are, yet you still choose to come in. So in the second instance, you will come in more in commitment than emotions. Well, that's all the time we've had here at Daystar University at the Valley Road campus. And that's all the time we had for us, Pastor Chris. Remember, if you want us to come to your institution or your college, you want us to come to your school, you want us to come to your community, whatever youth group that you have, send us an email to lifeandstyle@standardmedia.co.ke. The and is the symbols, lifeandstyle@standardmedia.co.ke. Keep the conversation going on the social media platforms with the hashtag KTN Life and Style. If you want to still ask questions, you could send your questions to us. Same email address, or even inbox us on Facebook. The page is KTN Life and Style, which I want you to like, and then go ahead and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at KTN Life_style. Follow me also at CJ Atemo on Twitter. Tomorrow will be Inspiration Thursday. You will have Tendai Mbalekwa and Catherine Mwangi. But until then, have a lovely day. God bless you. Keep it life and style every weekday, 8 to 10.